Hello, my name is Gethsemani Velasco, and today we're going to talk about my lesson plan, which will be on social emotional learning. This will be for grade 6, and my lesson will be on fixed versus growth mindset. And the lesson theme will be on the film Inside Out. And the subject interrogation will be listening, watching, writing, recognizing one's own self confidence, demonstrating knowledge of self identity, and responding when adults and other children initiate conversation, and how to, emotionally overcome any challenges or barriers that may be present within the child's life. And I think Inside Out is a great movie to kind of explain those emotions and how to deal with change as the character progresses and has, all these changes in their life. I think the kids can relate, and I think it's a good lesson to help them out. So this lesson will be for 6th graders, but I want to say it could also work 7th through 8th. But I'm just going to focus on 6th graders for now. So the state standards that we're going to be following is describe how a particular story or drama's plot unfolds in a series of episodes, as well as how the characters respond or change as the plot moves towards the resolution. Analyze how a particular sentence, chapter, scene, or stanza fits into the overall structure of a text and contributes to the development of the theme, setting, or plot. And determine an author's point of view or purpose in the text and explain how it's conveyed in the text. So obviously this is not going to be a text, this is going to be a film, but there's also going to be a worksheet working along with it. And since these are much older kids that we're working with, which I'm focusing 6th through 8th graders, then they should have no problem answering these questions and watching the film. So like I said, we're going to be focusing on the Disney Pixar movie Inside Out. This movie has to do with one's emotions and how to control them and how to deal with them, what kind of emotions someone might feel, how it's presented, because everybody is different and everybody expresses themselves differently, and that goes the same with emotions. Not everybody thinks the same way, and that is okay. We just have to learn how to progress and get over that hurdle, and then we can continue living our regular life. So, in today's lesson, we will be learning about our emotions and how we can control them in different situations. To do so, we will be watching the film Inside Out. This film is a great representation on how emotions are shown and how they can affect our everyday lives. Alongside the film, you will be also given a question assignment, and you have to answer throughout the film, with those questions being personal experiences among things that happened in the film. At the end of the movie, we will have a class discussion about the film and our thoughts on it. So I really want the students to kind of come together and group and just talk about their experience that they feel comfortable sharing. What they're comfortable talking about, kind of being vulnerable, because it is hard to open up about things like that, but it's also really important. And I want them to know that they have someone that they can always talk to, and, their emotions are valid. They're valid. So while the film is playing, I'll stop the movie now and then to ask questions and help them fill out their worksheet. This is just so we're all along the same page, and no student is left behind, and that the whole class is just moving along smoothly. So by doing this, everybody's going to be on the same page, and everybody should be on the same question, and then we can address any issues or any confusion as we move along. So we're all working together, we're all a team, and this is a perfect way to have everybody's engagement, because we're watching the film and then we're stopping it and we're redirecting their attention, and then we're focusing on the question and we're putting in input and feedback. Now, if a student has a hard time seeing, so this is accommodation. Sorry, this is like if there's any like special accommodations that we need to make or any changes for the student. And here I listed that if the students are having a hard time seeing the board, for example, I work at a school and I have students that cannot see the board. So in this case, since the school that I work at is a Title I school, Verizon has paired up with them or partnered up with them and gave each student an iPad. So in this scenario, I'm just going to think that they have iPads. So for example, if a student can't see the board, I'll tell them that they can pull out their iPad and watch it from their screen. And so that way they're not confused or trying to, figure out what's going on. I also have captions for those people who just prefer reading, helps them follow along, keep track of what they're writing. So captions will be put on, and subtitles to help to understand. Now, for the gifted kids, they can have an additional section that I was thinking in the assignment where they can pick a part of the movie where conflict arises and how the problem could have been solved using a different emotion. And I think that's going to let them kind of think about different ways of approaching a situation and how it could have been done differently. And this also kind of challenges them because, like I said, everybody reacts to different scenarios differently. So let's say in a scenario where someone's giving a cupcake, you think you would feel happy, right? So what if we change that emotion and maybe do, I don't know, disgust? That would be a real, 180 because why would somebody feel disgusted at having a cupcake, So this will help them think. This will help them think about the emotions and how they're interpreted differently. And so by having that, changing that part of the film to a different emotion and just kind of for them to predict what would happen, I think that would be very interesting to see what they think about that. Now, if my students have an issue understanding the lesson, what I will do is do a constant checkup on them during the film. And again, this is also supported when we stop the film and answer the questions. And again, we just want to make sure that everybody's on the same page. If they have any questions, we'll help them answer it. And at the end, there is going to be a group discussion. So this will just help clear any further questions or worries that they had about the film or about the assignment, even about what they think about it. This will clear all that up so that we're on the same page. And so to conclude the lesson, I was thinking that we will have a class discussion on the film, like I previously said, of what techniques we can pick up from it, what different emotions could have been used instead of the ones shown, and that's more for the gifted. How conflict could have been avoided. Also, we can also discuss if the student has ever experienced any emotions like that or has gone through a hard patch in their lives. We can just open up about it and their emotions and how we dealt with them. And I think that kind of helps everybody unite each other. Of course, they do not have to answer any of these personal questions out loud. If they want to keep it confidential, they totally can. But it's always great to hear other people's opinions. It brings the class closer and we just have a more understanding for each other. And obviously this is going to be done in a respectful manner where we hear each other out and we are respectful towards each other. And so for this lesson, the homework that I was thinking of assigning them is for them to monitor their emotions for a week and check up throughout the class. So throughout school, I kind of also wanted them to check in with me and log it on how they feel throughout the day. Because maybe in the beginning, they feel really tired and they don't want to learn and they have no effort. But maybe after recess, they're like super energetic and they just can't focus and can't stay still, which is the case with my students. So I think it would be an awesome idea for them to monitor their emotions for a week and think positively about themselves. Through positive affirmations, we can see a change in moods and we can see a more better outcome and better performance in anything that they put their mind to, right? So if there's any change in mood or if they have been issues controlling their emotions, they will let me know of the issue that made them feel upset and how they resolved it. So that would be a perfect way that we can use this technique that we learned through the film and through discussion on how to better manage our emotions so that they can help us succeed in the long run. And I put that this is a hard subject to master and it will take time and many tries. A lot of people are very close, especially when they're entering their teens, their early teens. They just want to keep a lot of things bottled up and they just want to seem tough on the outside. So this will take time and it will take a lot of vulnerability. Um, but we will try to check in with the students and keep a log for students to monitor their emotions. Um, and they can always make side comments about their triggers because I know with my students, there is certain things that will trigger them and trigger their emotions that you just kind of want to avoid or maybe work around towards. Um, and so we can keep a log of students and monitor their emotions, and they can make side comments, like I said, and how they overcame that. So the biggest thing I want them to take out of this lesson is what they learned and apply it to their real life, because this is so important, especially with social emotional learning with kids that need these resources, for them to know what to do in case of, let's say, them getting overwhelmed or just feeling a rush of emotions. Having a lesson plan like this will help them in the long run tremendously. Um, so yeah, that's basically my lesson plan. It's watching the film, reflecting, answering the questions, speaking on personal experience, and just gathering our thoughts and our emotions and how we can better ourselves through positive affirmation, how we can do better, change our mindset, change our mood, improve, tweak it, whatever needs to be done just so they can be successful at school and in their life. So, yeah, thank you for listening. That was my lesson plan.